0-2.
SSG, they are lower bracket merchants, Tim. It's what they've done for years now, so I wouldn't be horribly surprised.
0-2 though, Des.
I guess we'll see, Tim. We'll find out tomorrow.
I'm not sure anybody would have backed that one.
I'm sure production can dig into it and find out for us tomorrow how many have actually got their predictions correct. We'll, of course, see. Try to predict those first 4 because we only had 4 games to start the day. Well, 8 games across the two streams, 4 on each. And these latter 8 games that we're into now, of course, are the second games of the day for every team. It's had their first game of the day. This is the second. This is Dplus Kia coming up against Falcons in the 1-0 bracket. The winner goes up to 2-0, and they only have to win 1 more series to find themselves through to our live stages, Tim. And it's going to be a mega. Obviously, we're walking through the arena all the time as well. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's going to be one of the coolest arenas we've ever had. And I know it's so easy to want to say that, but we've seen what the plans are. Trust me, it's going to blow your mind. We've not had anything like it in Siege before. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Just yes. So you're the kind of guy that will say even less. I might even want to say even more.
You're definitely the kind that would want to say even more, and I've got to rein you in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's just say the team have cooked. I cannot wait.
I'm going to rein you into this game. We've got Dplus Kia and Falcons lining up. We've got bans coming in. Castle being one of the bans coming in from Dplus Kia. Interesting one. Not one that we see too often, but as you say, very powerful, particularly on border.
It's exactly that. It's because of the map that we're going on to. Castle's so good, and also for things like the Azami as well, to be fair, and the Mirror more so. These architect operators, right? Ubisoft gave them a classification and said they are architects. They change how sites and maps get played. And Castle on this map is extremely good for making you, as defenders, more comfortable playing around 90 and playing around the red hallway. Because you can lock off the double doorway size like gaps, because you can obviously chop it on a bunch of doorways and windows, on a map that is already very, very difficult to defend and hard to find angles that are safe, the Castle invites that. It slows down the attackers. And so banning it away does mean that things stay a little bit more freeform here. That is what Falcons are going to have to try and find their way around, as Dplus Kia going to come at them like a steam train here, Tim.
Yeah, more than likely. More than likely. Let's see how Falcons are setting up to begin with then. It's going to be Armory that they look to defend to begin with. We're going to have, I would imagine, a presence out inside of CCTV. They've reinforced the hatch there at R4, so there will be no escape from there, but there is the rotate out into 90, which will give that option. And at the minute, nobody's starting out in that position, but Shaiko is scrambling back upstairs on the Azami, and could very well be heading back in that direction at some point.
Yeah, with the Castle and the Mirror taken away, it's really your only option to be able to bring a slightly more dynamic defense. Very often see it set up inside a CC, being able to hold that down for that little bit longer. We saw Gunnar playing around with the doorway, actually, CC quite aggressively in their game earlier on today, without the Azami keepers to really support him. It was more about playing aggressive, like Solitop was trying to do just a second ago, but it's Shaiko that's first deleted here. Levy not having any of that nonsense. That's the Azami off the board here in quick fashion.
Yep, really good stuff there from Dplus Kia, and that's kind of exactly what I was saying. That's the game that they need to play here. Just bring a little bit of chaos. Just throw things into the mix, get those entry kills, get aggressive up to the barricades, try and catch Falcons out when they're rotating, when they're still setting up. Don't let them settle into this one. Don't let them be comfortable at all. But how about that? There's no comfort for Foles as he's heading up east stairs, gets hit with a nitro. He's going to be down, but will likely be collected.
Yeah, we spoke about this a lot when we were playing the game earlier as well, Tim. Like, well, casting the game earlier, we certainly weren't playing. We were watching people far better than us playing the game. But at the time we said, you know, you've got to be aggressive on the defensive border because there are so many soft walls throughout the map, because it is quite a small, boxed-in map. Yeah, gunfights are right once attackers are inside the building, so you've got to do all you can as the defenders to keep them outside, hold on to power positions like east stairs, for example, and really make them have to work for control of these parts of the map. That's what Falcons have done there with that very aggressive C4, but have overstayed their welcome. Solitov has come out for Near's been taken down very, very comfortably here. It's a 5 versus 3, and Dplus Kia, with half the round gone, have got 2 kills, Tim. They're setting up well here until they lose one more, maybe a little bit less so.
Yeah, Falcons just, I was going to say, fight their way back in, but they don't, as Mighty manages to take down users, leaving us now in a 4 versus 2. Dplus Kia certainly in the driving seat here. It is kind of what we expect. We spoke about defense versus attack on border earlier on. I was about that from me, just managing to pick up one through that soft hatch. That's some serious punishment for Falcons there. They're going to be feeling like there's not much they can do for the want of trying. They are going to manage to down Bullet out in CCTV, but it only gives them another 10 seconds as Nears manages to pick up that final kill, and that is going to be a round to Dplus Kia.
One thing I've got to commend them for, by the way, and I thought this when he stepped up for the interview, PJH, of course, with a full Brazilian roster. Yep. Believe he's Japanese, stepped up there and was given an interview. Very, very good English as well at that as well. So I wonder if the team actually communicate with him in English or if they communicate in Portuguese in-game. Like, I'd have to ask and find out, because that would be a really interesting, it's a really interesting dynamic where I thought they would have a Brazilian coach.
Yeah, you've got 3 languages at play there, potentially. Yeah. But yeah, PJH is an interesting one. Obviously, we've seen him as a player as well. I've always enjoyed watching him. And I think, actually, what I'm going to say about PJH might actually lend itself into Dplus Kia coming away with a good performance here, dare I say even a result. I said that coming in and, you know, bringing a little bit of chaos, getting aggressive, getting up in the face of Falcons might be a good plan here on Border. And that's exactly how PJH always used to play when he was in there as a player. That's why I enjoyed watching him, because you never knew what you were going to get from him. He'd be out there on the roam, he'd just be trying to get in amongst it, and he was always the player that was making a nuisance of himself. So, you know, as a coach, if he's going to bring that same sort of style into the team and he's going to, you know, encourage them to take that kind of energy to Falcons, it certainly could be a winning formula.
Certainly interesting. Remember he stepped back, actually. We were all just like, oh, he was one of the more fun players to cast in the region as well. He loved it. But alas, right now he's got 5 players in front of him that have started out strong, and let's see if they can continue through the rest of this round. We've got Leakyfact running around the Solus. Spoke about this a bit earlier on today as well, Tim. We did have probably about half a dozen players, maybe a little bit less around the world, that really enjoyed playing Solus prior to the buffs. And the buffs came on through and we thought, oh god, there's going to be some absolute terrors on this operator. And Leakyfact, well, he is one of them. Currently dancing out towards that east side of the map and trying to burn time on towards east stairs. Again, one of those power positions that the attackers sorely want control of. That's why there's 3 or 4 of them all gathered out here. But he's just trying to remind them, we are watching you. We will happily take a few shots here. You step forward, you could lose your life. So you've got to be respectful of those that are on their own trying to cause a bit of bother.
Drone goes into the dome. It's going to be watching down, sees the Solus. Solus sees it. Can't quite land the shots, though, and he's very conscious about the possibility of being pushed here, Leakyfact. So doesn't want to take his eyes off the prize for too long. He does finally manage to take out that drone, and the push does not come through whilst he is distracted. They weren't quite ready to move for him there, Dplus Kia, so Leakyfact will continue his roam around this top floor. He knows that there's a double claymore there. Is he going to go for it with a second impact nade?
We did actually see Kag earlier on Skyscraper jumping out using Tubarao to deal with those. So, of course, drop down the Soto canister. It freezes up any claymores outside. You jump straight out the window, and they don't go off. You get to get your free kill. You get back in the building. What's the problem? It's nice and good. But obviously, that's not an option to them here. They haven't got the Tubarao on side, so the impact they were hoping would do the job, but it does not. Solotov gets one, but Bullet is there for the trade. 1-for-1 between the two teams as we come towards the last 60 seconds.
Leaving manages to pick up Breedale, leaving us now 4 versus 3 advantage. Dplus Kia once again. Falcons, although we don't expect necessarily too much from defenders on Border, they need to be getting themselves a start, getting themselves a foundation. I would suggest here at least 2 or 3 rounds would be good, and right now Dplus Kia are doing a good job of preventing that. Just looking at how the attack is shaping up, they are working on surrounding Falcons here. They've got Levy inside of Office, and then they've got a presence inside of Break. They're going to be challenging CCTV here as Shaiko is just playing in there on that hatch. They can't get the kill. The follow-up is there, though, as Bullet manages to find the trade. 3v2, Shaiko taken down, and that leaves Dplus Kia largely in control of this top floor. There's only users that is now up above.
But look who's below. You've got Leakyfact, who will see anyone that does anything with these diffusers. They drop into sight. He'll be there to try and contest, and sure enough he does. But no, can't quite get himself ready for the false push in. Plant's going down, Levy's down 2. It's a 2 versus 1. Have they got the angle? Yes, they do. Yuji's doing what he has to do. And Falcons, with the help of the clock, they get round 2 over the line.
Yeah, I think Dplus Kia didn't dedicate enough manpower to clearing users out of that top floor there. They've sent 1 upstairs. Users has won the gunfight, and it's a difficult one for Dplus Kia, because it's like pick your poison. You've got 3 players and you've got 2 people to challenge. You're going to have to kill at least 1 of them. The difficulty is they likely know that it's Leakyfact left on the Solus. So as you say, he can monitor what they're doing. He can see through a wall if they're planting. He can play from outside of the site. So I kind of get why the choice there is, if we're going to, you know, kill 1 of them, we really need to kill the Solus inside the site. So with that in mind, they've sent their 2 players to deal with Solis, which means the other players then had to go top floor to deal with users 1v1. And that becomes a big problem when it's a player like Users. He wins that fight, he's got the verticals that he needs, he can pick up that final kill to stop the diffuser. So it was really difficult. They were between a rock and a hard place with Dplus Kia. If they send 2 upstairs to go after Users, maybe they come away with the kill from there, but then they've got a 1v1 with Leakerfac, and it's probably going to be the same outcome. So it feels like they were just short 1 player there. They needed to be able to send 2 to each, really.
That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, Tim, or sometimes just how the round goes, and sadly that's how it's played out for them. However, looking at this round, a little bit of a change in plan. We've got the blitz coming along from Falls, and we've seen a lot of blitz so far today. In fact, I think I was saying to, I want to say it was Leo I was speaking to, honestly. I forget so quickly these details. But I was speaking to someone in the green room when we were waiting to come on and start casting this game and saying it's kind of cool, actually, how little Blackbeard we've seen today. And the remark that came back was, it is, but by the same token, that's only because he's not as strong now as what other shield operators are. It's why we've seen a lot of Monty. It's why we've seen a lot of blitz. So I do wonder if at some point we see us going back to the shield bans of old, where you do see the the blitz taken away. You do see Monty taken away. People ignore the Blackbeard because he's more easy to deal with now. And actually, shields don't become such a staple of the meta as we've seen them be for so long. Solotov finding his second, though. Near's at least getting 1 back, but a lot of aggression. Solotov getting his 3rd. That might be enough to hold this round on to him. And even with blitz on side, with a glass here, they're just simply not going to be able to get to do what they need to, because Solotov has single-handedly shut this one down.
Bullet is going to be playing out that smoke grenade. It's interesting, I think the reinforcement just came up onto that fountain wall as well, so a late adjustment from Falcons, having that reinforcement in pocket to enable them to be able to sort of change the landscape in this final stages of the round. Still holding on to that top floor, the Users and Solotov both above. Solotov low health though, and Dplus Kia have managed to pick up a kill along the way, so a 2v4 becomes a 2v3. 1 minute 20 left on the clock, so plenty of time for Dplus Kia to work with here. Bullet's trying to use that thermal scope of the glass to just get any advantage that he can onto these 2 on the top floor. If he can just pick one of them up, then they've got an opportunity, but no, Solotov picks up his 4th in the round. Is he going to pick up that 5th?
Well, surely he can here as well. Mighty knows where he is, instead chooses to drop away. That's the sign, Tim. With a selfless player, doesn't want to stick up there and try and commit for the ace. Knows, of course, he put his team into a 1 versus 2. It's all about getting the round over the line, and with how things stack up, it looks like it can be done. But Mighty is 3-1. He's running around with that DMR, Tim. A couple of shots into anyone, we'll see him getting a kill. It's more the time that's now starting to work against him. It does feel like Falcons, with that discipline they've got, are going to be able to hold on.
Soon as he drops in, Breeder is there, ready and waiting, and that is going to be Falcons taking themselves round 3. 2-1 advantage for them on the defense now. This feels like it could be problematic for Dplus Kia. As I said, we expect a good half from attackers on border. Falcons, it's not a map that they necessarily choose to play, but they do play it well when pushed. And they are proving that once again. 2-1 up. If the trend continues and they can go 4-2 on the half on the defense, you've really got to back them to take it when they get onto the attack. We're going to have those bans come out. No surprises to see Dplus Kia taking away the Solis. She's creeping back in to the operator bans post-buff, and I think post-Leakyfac starting to use it.
Just proving to be a little bit of a nuisance, especially when you've got a couple of players in the team now. Clearly, Users also very comfortable to play her, that you just don't want to have involved anymore. And I think it's really fair to also look at numbers here as well across stage 2 and of course at the major here so far. Granted, we've only seen 6 games prior to this one, so not a whole lot to include in there, but stage 2 globally, Border is actually our 4th most defender-sided map at the minute, which sounds crazy to say. Yeah, even looking at how teams play it on the defense suggests that generally it's going to be attacker-sided. As mentioned, you've got aggressive out around the map, not a whole lot of like layers of utility you can stack up to try and slow down the attackers. But no matter what you say, the numbers at least stack up across 10 games of it. 56% defensive win rates in, which is very interesting. Lair, actually, our most attacker-sided map. Only that, Bank and Chalet are above 50% for the attackers overall.
10 seconds remaining.
See how that continues to evolve as the tournament goes by. See whether those numbers stack up to what we see here, or whether we start to see any differences coming on through. Falcons 2-1 then as we head into round 4. Bans have come in, and along with Solis, it was the ace on the other side that Falcons have taken away. We've seen a little bit of ace use so far, but obviously just wanting to, again, the ranged breaches are the ones that are particularly popular a lot of the time. You know, getting in there with that little bit of safety. I've always been the kind of guy that prefers a little bit of thermite, going in there and getting that really nice, clean, crisp, big hole opened up. But I can understand, especially on a map like Border, where you can do that at range, keep yourself a little bit of safety, and Falcons just trying to remove that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's keep on cracking on and see what else changes with the Amaro now inside alongside that Glaz. Again, we've seen a variety of concepts being brought along here. We saw it earlier on today as well. Just different ways to crack the problem that is Border. Some attacks are very, very quick and looking to move in a rapid pace. I definitely think this round is one of them with the Amaro on side. And sure enough, Falls is looking here to step his way forward, but knows that someone is on the hatch, needs to kill him. I don't think Yusuf has a clue where he's having his toes taken off from him, but it is underneath. Niers gets the finish off and is now starting to charge his way through the site itself. Falls coming up behind him, but no, 3 players fall. That could have been their execute, Tim, but they went before the smoke was down. The line of sight was open, and Falcons have absolutely deleted them.
Yep, decimated one by one, leaving Dplus Kia with only Mitty and Bullet left alive. And they've kind of had to hit the pause button here. They're both outside of the map, back onto the drones, trying to get that intel, trying to get that information. Bullet's just holding for the time being, waiting to see what can be found by his Nomad. And they will now try to work together to push forward and piece together something from the remaining broken shards of this round after Falcons smashed it to pieces within a couple of seconds.
Sure, this one, not too good. You know, that Legion Goo might not quite be as powerful as it was in terms of seeing that little X across the map and seeing it disappear, telling you where players are coming in from, but that sound cue, it's pretty damn distinctive. And Falcons looking very comfortable, Tim, here on the defense of Border. Does make me wonder, have Dplus Kia met their maker, at least for day one? Of course, it'll be very, very different stepping into tomorrow, but does that now start to draw questions in your mind about Furia? And of course, Dplus Kia got the 8-7 over them, but is it showing maybe that Furia aren't quite as powerful as many were expecting today?
I mean, we all know how it works, Des. If Dplus Kia beat Furia and Falcons beat Dplus Kia, then Falcons are better than Furia, obviously. That's just simple tournament maths.
We have got a tactical timeout coming on through, but nothing we really heard there from Dplus Kia, unfortunately. I think, in fact, we are back. Oh, we've got the game on my left screen. I've also got tactical timeout here on the right, so we'll find out what's going on in just a moment. There's more the players themselves having their moment here as well. And here we go. Let's have a listen. Never mind, it's a rehost, okay. I think we'll go for a rehost and then we'll do the timeout afterwards.
Yeah, I think there appears to have been some tech issues maybe or something there. So yeah. We'll get the answers of exactly what's going to be going on, and when we get back into it, we'll see for ourselves. But yeah, you know, jokes aside, you know, I think the point that you make is valid there. There's, you know, it really does raise questions about Furia, especially given their second result as well. You know, they now find themselves 0-2 and on the brink of going out. You know, let's not sort of undervalue the task that lies ahead of Furia at this point. They've got 3 back-to-back best of 3s that they need to win. You know, that's the reality here. And that's not going to be an easy thing for them to do, even for a team like Furia. So, you know, you better believe that they came in and brought everything that they've got today. You know, they want to be winning these majors. They want to be up there on top. And, like you say, if Dplus Kia, who now are looking a little bit lackluster against Falcons, were able to take that win off them. They were also then, you know, Shopify Rebellion, I think, is probably not too much of a good gauge for Furia taking a second loss, because Shopify Rebellion were very good in their matchup against Falcons. It was, you know, it was a close one, and they were unfortunate not to take more from it, really. So, you know, I think it's just the beauty of Swiss, isn't it? You know, you get results bouncing all over the place. You get to the end of day one and you just wonder what on earth is going on. Yeah.
That's often how it goes during these early stages, especially in best of ones, like you say, the thing, like, results can just come out your ears and you're just like, what the bloody Nora is going on there? Yeah, we've seen some crazy turnarounds today. I mentioned that Kag's misfortune certainly hasn't been fantastic. Like, it's a horrible when you get so far ahead and you feel like, yeah, momentum is really with us. And then it just falls away from you off the back of attack timeout or just the other team building in their own momentum, whatever else it might be. it does add for some madness. But tomorrow, of course, we get best of threes beginning, and that tends to be the great equalizer. And that is why we have those for those relegation games, especially in promotion, just so teams really have to prove themselves to push through or at least get knocked out.
I think still working on getting this lobby back together. All the players are in, and we'll get everything resolved and our game back underway just as soon as we can. Just a reminder, there is another game coming up after this one to close out the day. We will have the last matchup here on the A stream, but we will, of course, be with this one to the close before we get to that point. It looks like everybody's ready. The lobby is resolved. We'll be heading back in any time now, Des.
Well, Secret versus, if you don't want to spoil this, by the way, then cover your ears now, but Secret BDS has also concluded. That is on Lair, and the result was 7-5 to Team Secret. I think fair to say that's expected, given what we've seen, of course, in the regional leagues and how they've played against each other so far, and also the caliber of Secret. But BDS were dangerously close there, which is fantastic. Now we're going into our attack timeout, Tim, so let's have a see what we can hear as we get into this one.
I mean, we are doing the horizontal take now. With blitz and bucky both sides, I think it's better. Because the air is low, low is down.
So let's play horizontal on the workshop, and let's focus on Easters when they play toilet. Okay? Like, East is free. Like, we can do anything. Huh? Yeah. I mean, and we can spam the shields. Like, we can whatever we take. Like, East is free. So yes, let's focus on that. And like
I think he's out of time there as well. A few seconds before as it crept in. But again, we've listened to a lot of timeouts today. That one focused on more tactical. And it really is PGH just saying, like, okay, let's actually, because we can't get around on the board at the minute, let's just try and do this instead. And the East side control, we spoke about that being a power position earlier on. We're all the same. You can do anything from East Airs once you have it as a power position that you control. And that's where step one has got to be. It's why we saw earlier on today, for example, teams committing 3 or 4 players to getting control of that part of the map. For this exact reason, it's the springboard to anything else that you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, as we move into Ventilation Workshop, you've got a situation now where the defensive hold is going to be largely the same as an Armory Archives, just with that further element of making sure you hold on to the site below it. But there is going to be a lot of attention, a lot of utility stacked up from Falcons here on that top floor. And we see why. Users was able to win it from there last time around. That's why they want to keep somebody up here. So what do you do when you're normally attacking top floor? You want to get either CCTV control or East Airs control. So, you know, exactly what PJH was saying is going to be valid. It is going to be not necessarily, I won't say necessarily successful. We'll have to see how that plays out, you know, but it is going to be of interest for the players to go and try and get in there and try and take that territory. I'm interested to see whether they do that or not. You know, it was very clear, you know, East is free. We go in, we need to take it, we need to build from there. You know, is that something that the players are going to be looking, or, you know, was he talking in terms of a specific site attack, if it's maybe top floor? But as I say, this is very much the same as a top floor push. At the minute, it looks like they're largely pushing to get themselves in there horizontally.
We did also hear him speaking about pushing in horizontally. That looks to be the game plan here. I mean, we can see on our top down, and you guys can see at the bottom right corner of your screen, Shaiko is set up on East Airs, anticipating that a push would come in on that direction, and so far it isn't. The danger of leaving a player on East Airs is, of course, they can very comfortably control 90. They can put a lot of pressure down top floor in towards break as well. Being here on East Airs, though, you pin the player inside a passport. You make it really, really hard to play through the centerpiece of the map and start looking in towards site from that direction. It just very much restricts you as attackers. There's a big part of the map, probably about a third of it, that you can't comfortably play inside of until that East player is gone. That said, Shaiko is now dancing his way through break room. Again, keep your eye on that bottom right corner of your screen. You can see him realizing just how much control and how much power he's at the minute being given by Dplus here, and how much capability he has got to be an absolute nuisance for them as we get towards an execute.
Ooh, I was just about to talk about Bullet's push on the Ash up towards Armory, but we see elsewhere that Levy has been downed on the Dockerby, and that could be a big loss of utility. But how about this? Falls has gone in on the Blitz, managed to sneak through, and he's getting a plant down in Ventilation. Leakifact's unable to do anything about it, and it will be successful. Breeder manages to pick up the Nitro kill, but it's too late. The plant is already down. Dplus Kia are established outside. This is a round that is definitely winnable for them.
There's big question marks box as to how the hell they've got away with this one for free. Clearly, Falcons too worried about the rest of the map. They were spread up towards Office. You had Shaiko on towards Eastern Break, and they've just given over a bit too much control to the other side, have not tried to stop it, and now they're going to have to try and fight their way through a disabled Bride, trying his best, but cut down. Uses left into a 1 versus 1 here, but he's got to go in the next 2 or 3 seconds, Tim. Managed to find his man, got to get the stick on, and yes, he will. With about a second to spare, he'll get this one finished off, and Falcons go up to 4-1.
Have you ever seen anybody look calmer than Users just did in that situation?
It doesn't matter what play he does, he always looks calm.
He's just got the 1v1 and got on the diffuser with 7.5 seconds left, and he's just like, yeah.
And? I was playing the game, bro.
I've just won the round for us, bro. Don't worry about it.
That's what I meant to do, right?
Not a big thing.
I didn't even shake it, Tim.
Do we want a little behind the scenes?
Yeah, sure, go on then. Why has that happened to me?
Oh, so it's usually the players that do things like this, to be fair.
It hasn't touched any equipment, I will be clear.
It hasn't touched any equipment.
Before production rushing, like, what have you done?
But I've just seen Des like spin to the side on his chair and heard tss as his drink was opened and has fizzed over his hands.
Like, it's been sat. It hasn't moved for like. I tell you what, someone's done me in there. That's been shaken up and put in the fridge. I haven't done anything to it since I picked it up about 40 minutes ago. I thought, you know what, I quite fancy a swig of fizzy apple.
It's the sort of stuff that usually happens to me, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm going to try again. Because the fizz has gone out of it now.
Yeah, no, you should be safe now.
10 seconds.
What you get now is all that liquid that kind of leaked into the cap that's now all going to come running out when you open it.
It's all right, love. I've done okay, but it's the thing now is it's fizz.
Oh,
I'm so disappointed.
you're so hard done to, Des.
First world problems, honestly.
You're so
no
hard
fizz
done
in my
to.
fizzy
There's
apple.
no fizz in my fizzy apple. Oh, dear me. Is there a bit more fizz in Falcons' game? Dplus Kia are going to be hoping not. 4-1 it currently stands, and Falcons just finding the answers every single time. Dplus Kia actually did a lot right in that last round. They got Falls in there. He was on the blitz, got a position where he could put the diffuser down. They had Bullet above to stop the challenge from Leakafak at half wall inside of Armory. Trying to defend on the vertical. Didn't work because of that pressure coming in from the Ash, but ultimately a 1v1. 7.5 seconds left on the clock, and Users is able to get on that diffuser and win out the round regardless, and that is surely going to start to have an impact on this Dplus Kia side, because they just know that kind of no matter what they do, it's just not enough at the minute.
It isn't, and I'm worried, Tim, if they'll be able to find anything to get them going here. Certainly not an entry in the round. Levy on the sledge, deleted and removed. Solotov putting on the same kind of performance that we saw him doing in the game earlier on. He was 14-7 back then, Tim.
Oh, nice.
Although things have reset a little bit, they've got themselves in a good spot. Nears is in, 2 headshot kills. Leakafak and Solotov gone. Great way to recover the round, 4v3.
That's great play from Nears on the shield, playing at that long range like that. That's the most difficult engagement for him to take with that pistol, and he does it brilliantly. He's now going to go charging in towards Fountain. The cover is there from Mitty, and it leaves the Tubber out in a dangerous spot. Taken down. Users will not be clutching out the round this time. It's all up to Bride.
Oh, and he's got a shield in his face as well. This is never pretty. Got to look for his man. Not going to be able to get away with it. Nears hitting a quad in the round, Tim. And sure, okay, it's maybe not the dream outcome they wanted for this half, only getting 2 attacking rounds, Tim, but it's still 2 attacking rounds, and that will feel like a smash and grab, given how dominant Falcons have been.
Yeah, it will. 4-2 on the half for Falcons, and I'm sure they're going to be fairly comfortable with that going into the second half of things. Only around a 50% win rate historically for Falcons on the attack of border, so that will be enough. It will be enough if they can hit that mark.
We'll see about that.
That's the question, whether they can hit that mark or not. And we're going to see an immediate ban on the Monty coming in from Dplus Kia. Azami is the response from Falcons. I think that's a good one. Azami often used to try and hold on to kind of CCTV or east stairs, those sorts of areas, you know, those power positions. Mirror and Ying will also go by the wayside. I mean, Ying is always a good choice. There's never, you know, a bad time to ban a Ying, I wouldn't say. Those Candelas super powerful, but I'm not too sure whether this is going to completely slow down Falcons or not.
Probably a case if you look back to the last time that we saw Falcons on this map on the attacking side. They ran Ying in 4 out of the 6 attacks they did. Lots of Dokkaebi in there, lots of Deimos in there as well. It kind of makes you wonder, like, how can you let that much through? How can you give Falcons that much power? Secret banning away against them. Blackbeard, Monty, and then Deimos in round 10 because they realised, yeah, that's actually causing us quite a problem.
That's my concern. That's why I say I don't know whether the Ying will be enough. Obviously, you know, look, you're playing against a team where it's difficult. You want to ban 4 operators, really. You want to take the Ying, the Monte, the Demos, the Dokkaebi. You've just got to pick your poison and go with what you think is best. It's no surprise to see. Look at that lineup straight away. Who's in there? Dokkaebi and Demos.
Shocker. Should always be the ones that you look towards him for this team. Yeah, there are other things that you can take away from them. Blackbeard now being nerfed, of course, opens up a ban slot against Falcons is one thing to consider. But still have to respect shields, as they're always a bit of a nuisance, so you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Ban away Dokkaebi Demos, you get shields in your face. Ban away the shields, you get Dokkaebi Demos, or in this case, try a little bit of a hybrid. The Ying, one of their go-to popular operators as well. Just a lot that you need to be thinking about, and we'll see what gets taken when we get towards round 10. That's, of course, soon we get there, Tim. Falcons win this 3-0 in this first quarter of the second half, and, well, we're already over and done with. The 7-2 to Falcons will be how it concludes.
Liquifac's already gotten himself inside quickly, and he's just looking to hold down that rotate along catwalk. Can be a heavy footfall area. Levy's actually down. There we go. Liquifac just in prime position. As I said, heavy footfall area, not only on the catwalk, but beneath as well. Waiting area, trying to hold on to beneath, especially if they know that Demos is going to be played, or possibly the book that we see Liquifac using so often. So he's just played that absolutely beautifully, knowing that the challenge would be there underneath. Finds his man, gets the kill, and gets a big advantage for Falcons in the first attacking round for them.
Sure, not a bad start. Spoke being the one that's taken offline as well. So that first call rings out, the second one quite fast coming online, but guess what? Don't need much more than that, Tim. When you've got a Demos on side, you can do it yourself. And what I love is that Shaiko has stepped, he's made room for Liquifac to get on the Demos, Tim, and he's got himself a triple kill. What a way to start it out. Nia's left in a 1 versus 5. I think you've got to be a rocket scientist to know exactly how this one tends to work out, Tim. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on. We'll get at least 1 for himself. The looking in, though, down goes about 1/3 of his HP. Collects a second. But they will draw ranks here, Tim. They've got 75 seconds with which to get this done. And sure enough, Brede is locked and ready for him. Falcons taking their first attacking round.
Yeah, the time was the big problem there for Nias. It was too long to hold on. You know, had there been 10 seconds left on the clock, 1v3, you think, right, you know, maybe try and just hold a deep position here and see if you can catch them trying to get into sight. But with 75 seconds left, he has no choice but to peak that, to get aggressive and to try and get another kill. If he gets the next kill and it goes to 1v2, then, you know, his options start growing a little bit. But it was always going to be a big ask. Good round from Falcons, good round from Liquifac. The triple that we see finished off here, he was, look at this, right on it. Knew that that player was coming, knew Mitty was going to push him from that door, switches to his primary, gets the kill, beautiful stuff. And Falcons right now, they are looking very, very comfortable. This is, I think, you know, probably coming in against Shopify Rebellion. I think the performance was of an equal kind of standard to what we see in here. It just, for me, goes to say that, you know, I was right in what I was thinking of how good Shopify Rebellion were in that game as well, and why it was so close. So, yeah, Falcons looking very, very good in this second matchup.
All right, onwards we move. There's a big ask for Dplus here to fight their way, and as said, we may not even need to see that extra ban coming out. Mighty looking a bit aggressive, more towards the barbed wire, of course, going down. Nice little sound cue for you. You know, someone's running past outside when they destroy that. Well, it could be a free kill for you. The RX quite handy for dashing very, very quickly. Also, of course, looking to deal with a shield, of which we have in this round, Tim. I spoke about that Blackbeard being nerfed and maybe it now being a free black ban slot against Falcons. I think maybe I was wrong because we normally see users running around on it, but here it's Brede's turn to shine and show what he can do. And maybe that's a sign of the changes that have come through to the operator, makes it less aggressive and now much more towards being supportive, which is why you've got Brede being the one that's running it.
Nias is the one that's trying to stand up on East Stairs as well, and no surprise, he's been doing fantastically well over the last couple of rounds, but just not quite enough to keep his team in it. We're going to see the Toxic Babe go out. There's a little bit of damage to Brede on the Blackbeard, but not too much. What it does do is buy Nias a little bit of time for maybe somebody like Bullet to move up and offer a little bit of support, because he knows that the pressure is mounting here. He's not going to be able to continue playing this position necessarily after this ace charge goes off. The movement is there. I'm surprised Falcon's not in a position quite to cut him down, but they know exactly where he is, and they know that East Stairs is going to be available once this Toxic Babe wears off.
And they've also managed to get the kill onto him as well. So not only have they kind of sat there and waited for the smoke to burn through, they've also managed to remove the player. Now, Bullet, straight back where he went down. Not quite in the same spot. He's dancing in and out of the office rotation here, but it's a similar position. Trying to challenge on towards East. They know that it's a power position, and Falcons are showing us exactly how important it is to them, Tim, committing a lot of resources in towards it, and they've now killed 2 players whilst taking this control. This is now free for them. They've got about half a round to play. They've got players upstairs looking for the vertical, almost taking Levy out through the soft wall, uses into another. This round's also done, Tim. You're seeing a little bit of a differential opening up between these 2 teams. It's going to be a 6-2 here to Falcons on the back of a flawless round.
Yeah, they knew exactly where Levy was there. It was surely a matter of time. You see Shako peek around, just using that sound as he comes into Archive to pick him up. His track had only just worn off, so he knew exactly which direction he was heading in. And that's going to be Falcons 6-2, as you say. Now 4 opportunities to close this one out, and it will be a very successful first day for Falcons, leaving themselves 2-0 in the Swiss format stage.
It's very nice being that after day one, isn't it? Knowing that, okay, I've got to win one more and I'm on the live stage. That ain't so bad. Whereas the teams that are down to 0 and 2, you're fighting for your life across these next few days, Tim. It's not the prettiest for them, and not the prettiest outcome that they've got to work through, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And Dplus Kia, you can't complain too much, Tim. Being 1-on-1, still not a bad spot to be in going into tomorrow. Why are we howling like wolves, guys?
What a passion coming out of Julio there. Very excited. He's usually such a quiet guy, is Julio, as well. Like, he's genuinely such a quiet guy normally.
He is. You know what's got me a few times today is every time that we call it a stinger, the stuff that comes up on a broadcast or a graphic that appears to take you from one scene to the next. Sometimes we have that stinger when we're not in game of the dog drone coming up. And that bark, every time it goes off, just catches me by surprise. I'm like, where's the dog? Because it's a noise that we're so not used to hearing in Siege that your ears and your brain just go, well, hang on a minute, something's not right here. It's dead strange.
It was like, I can't remember which event it was. Do you remember when R6 Small launched?
Yes.
And for the first game, we were kind of like, they're little like pixel siege operators. Like, we weren't sure what was going on. It was like, what is that?
It was good, it was good. Either way, once again, you've heard us speak about it during the attack time at Dplus Kia. PGH saying the importance of focusing on East Stairs, and you're seeing exactly the same coming up from Falcons yet again. Committing a few players appear. Shiko stepped in and got a freebie onto Paul Levy, who cannot catch a break, Tim. He's 0-5 now.
Yeah, it's been a tough few rounds for him, not able to really get himself involved in this one, and it's just smoke that's gone as well within 30 seconds of the round starting.
Not good.
It's not good. You know, you've got to look at this and say that it's Falcons for the taking at this point. Just looking at where they're stacking up, it's mostly around the East Stairs once again. Solitov's going to take a little bit of damage. There's a battle going on with Bullet inside of Break Room, but I don't think they're too worried about that right now. They're just looking to get themselves established inside of Office. Challenge comes, but Nias, who else manages to step out, get the kill onto Shako. Great swing from him, and it just breaks a little bit of that momentum that Falcons were building. But as I say that, the trade is there. Solitov picks him up, and it is now 4 versus 3.
There's so much time to work with in Solitov. I tell you what, Tim,
good.
He's wanting to put on more numbers on the board versus what he had earlier. He wants to be our top player in the tournament at the end of today, and my God, is he more than on the route for it. 14-7 earlier. I'm pretty sure with this round now he's up to 13-4. 4-0 on the entry. He is absolutely flying.
Yeah, he's had a great day, hasn't he? Those 2 performances really stacking up and helping Falcons over the line to the position that they find themselves in. Mitte is going to be inside a CCTV, just waiting for that challenge, but it's never going to come because Solitov has deployed that air jab, and then he's moved away. So the challenge on Breakdoor is no longer going to be a thing. Brede sees the Falls' feet and manages to pick him up, and then straight away starts slapping that diffuser down. Plant confirmed, and this one is all but over. Mitte, 1v3, diffuser down, cut down by who else? Solitov. And I think that's the one that at least levels him up with his performance earlier.
14 kills again, I believe. 28 kills across 2 games. You're certainly not going to be complaining about that one. And Tim, we came in saying, it does feel like there might be a bit of a differential here. We've got Dplus Kia. Yes, they've beaten Fury. It was a very close game coming up against Falcons, who many are considering one of the favourites to win the competition. You've seen the difference there. A very easy 7-2 win on Border.
Yeah, Falcons really looking like they're hitting another gear here at this point, and I think anybody who is going to be playing up against them is going to be very, very cautious going into that matchup. Nobody's going to be too keen to face Falcons, I don't think. I mean, it's day one, Des. Is it too early to start asking, could this be the one?
No, well, sorry, yes, it's far too early, Tim. Don't get started on that.
Could
one.
it be the one, Des?
That's like if Liverpool win 2 games in a row at the start of the season, you're like, oh, the title's ours.
It's like how I've been for years with Liquid. I'm not backing them. I'm not backing them coming into this one, and then they have a good day one. I'm like, could this be it? It's transferred. My energy's transferred to Falcons.
It may well have, Tim. It may well have. And of course, we'll see how they perform tomorrow as well. What else they can show us across the rest of the stages. Once we get onto the live stage, of course, next weekend, things start to look very, very different anyway. It's a whole different ball game. There's the crowd to get behind you as well. They've got the experience, but there are plenty of other teams here who have also built up that experience over the years and are in with a great shout.